Mikey's not in his seat.
No, that's why I'm sitting going, wow. What do we have? I think we have this. Great. Are we on? Welcome to the April 24th, 2024 Board of Trustee meeting. We will begin the meeting as we do every time with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I'm glad to say we don't have anybody to memorialize tonight, but I just want to put a good thought out there to all of our seniors and juniors who are going to proms this season. Please be safe. It's always a fun night, but please be safe. Also, I want to wish all of our college students who will be coming home after whatever class, whatever year they are, drive safely, welcome home, and have a great summer. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. All right. I do see some people in the audience, non-familiar faces, but if you're here and you wish to speak when it comes to the public comments, you need to sign a form out at the table and turn it in. The pen's not working? Well, here you go, sir. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
We need it to be able to announce it. He'll get it for you. Thank you. Maybe we need to change our sign.
Is the Boy Scout working on a badge?
Yeah, but he doesn't want to join, but I have the information. Yes, all right, thanks, Peg. All righty, we'll go on with the meeting. We'll start with the approval of the minutes, please, Mr. Luby.
Motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees regular meeting held on April 10th, 2024, and dispense with the readings.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. All right, approval of overtime.
We have a motion to approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending April 16th, 2024.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
Motion to approve bills for payment.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion approved. Report from fiscal officer, please.
As far as significant transactions since our last meeting, as far as disbursements, our payroll in 411 was $375,000. And we did have some expenses related to the town square. We purchased some laundry equipment for $48,000. Our fitness studio and technology equipment were $117,000. We spent $66,000 for the patio bar. We spent $830,000 to Turner, again towards the construction. And we bought a police vehicle for $48,000. As far as deposits, we did receive our first half settlement check, and that was $2.6 million. That's all I have.
All right.
Sorry. Sorry about that.
Okay. Trustee correspondence, Trustee Seavey.
Yeah, without the bells and the whistles, thank you very much. No, I just want to take a minute to say that I know that there was some organization going on to clean up the parks, and thank you to those who came out and carried the garbage bags and walked through the park. And, you know, it was great to see them, and it was also great to see that they really weren't finding a lot. So congratulations to the Parks Department. You're doing a great job. And again, thanks to the volunteers who spent their day in the parks. Thank you.
Great. Trustee Davis?
Two things, thank you. First of all, Cheryl, the ringer on your phone, we went 100 years trying to get away from that ringtone.
It's back.
It's back.
It used to play the Ohio State fight song.
Would that be okay? We don't mind the Buckeyes. Anyway, first of all, my heart, and I'm sure yours also, go out to the gentleman down on Lower Fairbanks, the construction worker that was hit by the vehicle. I don't know his condition. Last I heard, it was very serious. Again, what happened was something that we were waiting for it to happen, and it happened down there as they put in these speed bumps down there on Fairbanks at River Road. Speed limit still says 35, and I saw a little bit of debate going on Social Meanness Network about that. And of course, what happens when it gets cold and you got ice and things and people are slamming their brakes on, for those, I can't even imagine. But again, the city of Cincinnati, in their infinite wisdom, I'm sure, trying to control the residents, control the speed, and control the safety, which is always a good thing, right? Until something like this, where traffic was stopped and someone thought, well, I'm not going to wait, and I'm just going to go around everybody and right into the path of hitting that construction worker. So our prayers go out to him and his family as he hopefully is recovering, I assume. Like I said, last I heard, it was pretty bad, pretty rough. But again, that's the city of Cincinnati. That is not Delhi Township. We are not on that page, so please do not use Delhi when you talk about that. That is in the city of Cincinnati, which rolls me to the second point. Someone on the social network put out there is Delhi Pike now 65 miles an hour. You guys better watch it. They're going to put speed bumps. No, we're not looking for anything like that, but it is a call to slow down. And we've had this over the last several months on those red lights, people running the red lights. And again, I don't do the Social Meanness Network unless someone says, oh, you should see that. And again, just a quick response. We don't respond on social networks like Nextdoor and all these other things because we can't. We can't do township business. And trust me, there's plenty of times when we'd like to put out the truth and the fact and actually defend what's being said. But we have another vehicle for that, which is our own Delhi Township Facebook, which is the official. If you have questions or something you want to know, call any one of us. Call any one of us up here. Call the administrator, Skylar, and we'll give you the facts. It's extremely transparent. Doesn't get any better than that. So I know everyone gets their little pulpit when they get on social media. And did you see what I said? Oh, did you see how I responded? Who cares? That's not what Delhi community has been all about. It's not what we want to be about. You lift each other up. You build each other up. If you have questions or concerns about spending or the township spending this on Delhi Township Square, and what are you going to do? Just call and ask. We'll give you the facts. But get the facts first. My goodness gracious. All that does is divide a community. It doesn't build you up at all. That being said, I remember Chief saying to you several times, I know we're doing our job when we start hearing the police mentioned on social network, and I saw it finally. It says someone, I have noticed more Delhi Police Department at Greenwell and at Anderson Ferry intersections on the Pike. Thank you, Chief. We made it. Can you imagine? We finally did it. And that's what we have to do. Because there's increased traffic, because the summer months coming along, we are out there. We are going to enforce it. I know we've all seen more police up on the Pike and going from there. One person did so. I know it's crazy. I just wondered if I didn't get the memo that red lights are now just suggestions. Just once I'd like to witness someone getting a ticket for running a red light, not just when they get T-boned. I thought that was an interesting point because you've given facts over the last several meetings now on how many tickets are being written and people being pulled over. And again, it's not for money making because we only, what was it, $4, something like that at the most that we would make on a ticket. So it's certainly not a revenue generator to be pulling over a lot of people. We just want to be safe. We just want to know that when we go on a green light, that we're not going to get T-boned, that we're not going to get hit. And at the same time, we don't expect people to be flying 55 down Delhi Pike. So it's a matter of just being smart as you are driving. And we all know that these are not Delhi Township drivers doing this. So we all know. That was a joke, y'all. But it is a call, especially with the summer months coming along. Be smart, be safe, and the police are out there. They're keeping an eye on there because we have to. That's just the way it is these days. And if you're flying there, you're going to get caught. I tell you that. You will eventually get stopped, pulled over, just like the gentleman down on Fairbanks that decided to pass everybody up and hit the construction worker. You got caught. And now someone's in the hospital healing because of your actions. So thank you so much.
All right, you would have been happy last night. Somebody was pulled over by one of our own into our neighborhood off of Cleves Warsaw last night, so shame on them. Tonight we do have a Boy Scout in our midst, and he's here earning a badge, and his name is Carter Nyer from Troop 300 out of the Shiloh Methodist Church, and he's here with his dad, Brandon. So he's going to be watching government in action. And the best way to start is locally, because this is what impacts your family's life, your life, a lot. So thank you for being here and choosing us to come see tonight. So good luck with your badge. Secondly, congratulations and thank you to 8 of our Delhi Township firefighters who competed in the Fight for Air climb at Great American Ballpark a couple Sundays ago. The top 3 times for our team were Lieutenant Scott Summers at 22 minutes and 29 seconds, firefighter Austin Peening at 27 minutes 14 seconds, and Zeno Perry at 27 minutes 20 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't sound like a lot of work, but what they do is they go and they climb the up and down of the upper bowl of Great American Ballpark with all of their equipment on, with their coats on, and their boots on, and their air tanks on, and their mask and everything. So it's not an easy thing to do, but thank you. They raise lots of money for lungs. Yeah, and so God bless them. Thank you for doing it, and they do it every year. Secondly, or thirdly, I guess it is, we have a great announcement if you haven't heard, but Delhi Town Square celebration, ribbon cutting, inaugural viewing, everything is going to take place on Saturday, July 13th. Originally, we were looking at June 1st, yet some people are confused. It is now July 13th. We have an MC, we have 2 bands, we have food, we have, let's see what they say, jugglers and all kinds of things going on. You'll see mascots, so please bring the family out. I believe the ribbon cutting itself is going to be at 3 o'clock. And the bands and everything will be 4 to 8. So come out, have a party, enjoy our new space, and there will be tours, so you'll be able to go inside and see everything. So we're very proud of it. We want you to be proud of it. Come join the party. So you'll see more about that. There'll be more things. We have a committee working on it. So as the plans roll out, we'll let you know. But put it on your calendar. So enough said. All right, fire department.
Good evening, trustees. So this is one of the few times I don't have anything on the docket, so I can just speak to you a little bit about what's gone on so far this year. So I'll just give you a quick summary of where we are after our first quarter here at the fire department. We are at 1,083 runs, so that's about an 8.2% increase over last year. This marks 6 years in a row of run increases. So the service is being used much, much more. Just for instance, year to date, we are at about 78% of those being medical calls. So the paramedics are quite busy. We've had 12 fires. And while we increase the number of runs, we still maintain a 4-minute, 43-second average response time. So it's still in the wheelhouse, staying below that 5-minute mark. Really, we transport right now about 72% of the run, so we do go to a number of medical calls where they just need assistance getting up, or maybe it's not a serious enough medical issue to be transported and things like that. However, with the number of runs, again, when you're averaging 11, 12 runs a day, most of those being medical, like I've always said, that transport is about an hour and a half where personnel are kind of swapped out. So we've been really good. Haven't needed mutual aid a whole lot. You guys see the runs, so when we get hit with all 3 and all 3 ambulances are out, it's just bound to happen. It seems like it happens a lot with us, but we've been able to maintain that. So even though runs are up, maintaining services very well. We're at full staffing, as you are aware. We've gone on a major recruiting hike. We've brought in a lot of people. We've lost a few people, but we've still maintained that 100%. Last thing I want to note is I do want to recognize our folks. They responded mutual aid last Thursday, just shortly after 6. They had a structure fire up in Covedale off of Pasadena. And our crews typically run mutual aid with Green Township and Cheviot. They come over here. You've seen them enough. But what was really something to kind of relate is just the seriousness, because I don't think we talk much in a way of fire safety as much as we used to. We just take for granted that things will kind of come into place. But that evening, our crews put together with Green Township, it was their jurisdiction. Our crews got over there quickly, established command, Green Township went in with a hose line, and our crews went in and rescued the gentleman that was trapped in the fire. Unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries that evening. However, our medic crews transported him. So when you look at the resources, it's not just a shout out to Delhi. We can't do it ourselves. They can't do it themselves. But the fact that that person had the best shot that they could by the work that our crews did is absolutely fantastic. And I shared with you that evening, certainly that is something that it goes unspoken. You don't see a lot of it in the news and how hard it is and how hard they work to do those things, but it's a tremendous accomplishment to our crews and how hard they fought for him. So unfortunately, it did not work out, but it's just to go show the teamwork and how much they go in and do their job every single day.
Right.
It's that season again, Doug, and I know every year you deliver a public service announcement about open burns.
Yes.
And I could already, through the neighborhood, I could sniff somebody burning leaves or wood or something. And I mean, we're all cleaning up our yards, we're all getting ready for the spring planting and so on. But open burns,
On a lighter note, I can talk a little bit about that. So yard waste is not something that is permitted to be burned. Grass, leaves, things like that. Seasoned wood only, dry seasoned wood. If you have questions, call the firehouse. If we have to come out, we will educate. We've got numerous pamphlets we go out just so our folks are aware of the do's and don'ts in terms of burning. There are limited situations where it can be done. But for the most part, the best way to avoid any harassment or any issues, call the firehouse. We don't patrol. That's not something that we do. We don't go out looking for them. If called, we will come out and evaluate the situation.
I remember you saying something about if it is seasoned wood and an acceptable burn, that it be so many feet away from the structure and that you have a water source somewhere near where you're doing the burning.
15 feet away from structures. We do advise them to have an easy way to extinguish it. It can't be more than 3 feet wide, 3 feet tall. Like I said, there's some like statistical things we can kind of go into it. It's just use common sense. People are going to certainly complain if you're burning wet leaves and things like that. It gets into the house. People are allergic to it. And it's not a free-for-all. It's not like we would come out and say, yes, this is a legitimate burn, but smoke's blowing into somebody's window and they're having issues with it. We would address that situation as well. It's just something that people need to understand. We are providing a service. We are also not in the position of pitting neighbor against neighbor. We do get drawn into a lot of petty arguments like anybody else. I'm sure the law enforcement's very aware of it. We're not there to settle disputes, and we're not to settle neighbor wars. Legitimately, if someone is out burning seasoned wood in a fire pit, just enjoying the evening and casually, does not have any impact on anybody else, no one else would be the wiser.
Good. Thank you, Doug.
Trustee Davidson? All right. Thank
All right.
you, Chief Campbell.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, Parks and Recreation, right now, Randy is out digging trenches. So Administrator Miller is going to present his.
We have a motion to hire the hiring of Parker T. Gold as seasonal Parks and Recreation worker in the Parks and Recreation Department at a pay rate of $15 per hour upon successful completion of background check and drug testing effective on April 24th, 2024.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion carries. Welcome, Parker.
We have a motion to approve the hourly rate for the event custodian, Timothy B. Yeager, to $15.60 per hour, effective April 12th, 2024.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion approved. Okay, department update, please, Mr. Miller.
Yeah, just real quick. So Randy and the crews are out in the parks right now, Delhi Park right now, to working on the trenching for the new lighting project out at the stage. So trying to get it done today because the building inspector will be out tomorrow morning. So they're putting in a little extra time on it tonight. So other than that, we have a new stove installed at the senior center. Solar lights are being installed at the Delhi entrance signs. I believe, yeah, Randy and John fabricated mounting brackets to kind of help deter theft on these. So we're hopeful that these new lights will be in place for a long time. And then the HVAC system, the new system that we're installing at the senior center, that is underway, running smoothly. The windows should be out for delivery, and installation of those should start next month.
Okay, great.
Yep. And then one other thing I have, Randy and I have walked the new proposed site for the dog park. So this site is roughly twice the size of the other site that was proposed near Floral Paradise Gardens. There will be fewer residents impacted. This is up against a wooded area. I believe this is old Field 9, so very small, not up to regulation size. This is kind of in a depression, so we'll have to work on getting some steps and some ADA access, but it certainly has a lot of potential, and we can bring amenities to it in a phased manner, so it's looking good.
All right. Any questions?
No? Good.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Okay, Police Department, Department update. Excuse me, Chief Braun.
So today we had a great visit from Adopt a Class from Delshire today at our facility. They were here for about 4 hours. So we were going over a bunch of different things with them, and Officer Petrusti actually was putting them through a workout back there as far as calisthenics and some of the exercises we do when we do training. So they kind of enjoyed that a little bit. So great.
Man on the totem pole, huh?
What's that?
Last one in.
Yeah, but just great interaction with these kids. Obviously, some of them have never had interaction with us, and in fact, one of the children today mentioned something about he's familiar with some crimes like resisting arrest and stuff like that. We're like, okay, but because you never know what kids will say. I mean, it's just priceless. But great interaction. It's been a great thing for us. Secondly, Citizens Police Academies last night is tomorrow night, so we'll be bringing them here before you guys here in the near future for graduation. So we're hoping they all go on to DCPA, so continued interaction with us. Just kind of a spin-off from what Trustee Davis said before. School's getting out soon. Please watch out for kids in subdivisions and drive slow, drive the speed limit, and even slower than that. Because it's tragic when obviously a little one gets hit and running through between cars. Obviously, you can't help if they run out in front of you, but if you're driving slow enough, then you can react to it. So please be careful.
It's an interesting thing, Chief, not to interrupt you,
you're
but
good.
talking about that or a child getting struck or something, it could be as simple as, and correct me if I'm wrong, they just did a special on this the other night, and I was intrigued how easy it is to get cited for something. You're going down, say, Robin Lane, and you're going 40 miles an hour down it, and you have that ability to measure those tire marks, to all of that, and if that child, seriously, I mean, that's how fast you could find yourself in a serious handcuffs, namely. And so it is, go the speed limit, especially down those side streets. Kids are kids, and they are fixated on an object, they want to get to it. So, yeah, be smart.
Yeah, and in today's day and age with the technology, obviously we're blessed, and kind of it's going to spin off on something else I'm going to bring up. But we have the technology to plug into a car and tell us how fast we're going. So, the old black box or event data recorder, we plug in and it tells us everything about your car, so including how fast you were going. So something to think about. And there's a photo from today's Adopt a Class, so that's classic. And a spin-off of technology and equipment that you guys provide, and we're blessed with that. I was at a meeting today about the Rotary Club giving defibrillators. Their goal is to equip every marked police car in Hamilton County with a defibrillator. But when I was talking to some of these people, they didn't realize that we've had them over 2.5 decades, and that we've saved multiple lives with them. So, thank you for that. Obviously, we're way ahead of the curve with that, and obviously with Doug's expertise with, giving us good advice on what equipment to get and et cetera. But we're blessed, and, obviously, I know what, like you mentioned before, I mean, sometimes people are worried about us not getting the equipment we need, but, you know, we've got it, and if we don't have it, you know, obviously, we get support on getting it, so. That's all I really have, as far as, unless you guys have anything for me.
Okay.
No, I'm good, thank you.
All good? All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, Public Works, again, no items, but Mr. Rippinger, going to regale us with his knowledge.
Be pretty quick. Let's see. Cleese Warsaw, the Duke pole replacement project, seems like it's moving pretty fast. I don't have a lot of information on it, but weather's agreeing with them. Devil's Backbone opened a few hours early like we expected, so we didn't really get any phone calls on that either. That was a sewer installation project. Let's see. We did a street sweeping, trying to stay proactive, trying to keep the township clean. We've done it as needed on Delhi Pike, so we did it again this year. It looked like it needed. Cleaned the sidewalks up and swept the street Saturday morning. That went good. And we picked a random street that we thought needed it, and we picked Rapid Run. It definitely needed it. I think a total combined, we haven't really weighed it yet. We haven't hauled it off yet, but it's about nine tons of debris on those two roads.
Wow.
And Delhi Pike was actually pretty clean. It wasn't too bad. We've been staying on that. So it is a Hamilton County maintained road. We do contract out the sweeping, but it's pretty reasonable, and I think it's worth it. We'll just budget for it and do it as needed, but I think it does make a difference. Made a little bit of a mess for a little bit during the project, but it worked out good. It looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, the new poles on Cleese Warsaw, you used to have a fighting chance if you lost control and you hit one of those old wooden poles. I've got a feeling that if you hit one of these new poles that they've put on Cleese Warsaw, the pole is definitely going to win. So, Mike, to your point about speeding, boy, you know, look at the size, look at the diameter of those metal poles that they're putting in, and you versus the pole, I think it's going to be the pole every time.
I think that section of poles is a little larger than normal, even the old wooden
They
ones.
look very large.
And they're a little further off the road too, which should help compared to a lot of poles.
Good.
So
I think
good
there's
news.
also, at least there's also fewer of these poles because they're taller and larger. The span is a little better. So there's certainly a trade-off. You're absolutely right. That's but maybe fewer obstacles as well.
Great.
All right, I think that's all I got.
All right, well, thank you.
The pole project does intersect with the expansion of the Linneman. Yeah. It's a big electrical upgrade, so this is a big project. It's been going on for a while.
Okay, so it's part of
still a lot more work to do there.
All right, good.
right,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you for the update. Appreciate it. Okay, administration, Mr. Miller.
We have Resolution 2024-45, entering into a business associate agreement with Marsh & McLennan Agency LLC in connection with provision of group insurance benefits to eligible employees and officers, including benefits provided through an individual self-insurance program, authorizing the township administrator to execute and deliver all necessary documents and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution, Mr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am. This is a recommendation from myself and our HR director, Melanie Hermes, to move from Haran to MMA, Marsh McLennan Agency. We have Jeff Smith, the Vice President of Employee and Health Benefits, here tonight from MMA. We believe that moving forward, our health benefits will be in good hands with MMA, and we look forward to this new relationship. So.
Okay. Did you want to say anything, or nope? Okay. No. If you would, please, yeah. Yeah, if you would, yeah.
Thank you, trustees, Skylar, I appreciate it. From someone who grew up off Foley Road, rode his bike up and down Delhi Pike, and Foley Road my entire life, played basketball, and got either a lot better or a lot worse at Delhi Park, it would be a true honor to represent Delhi in this fashion. So I do appreciate you having me tonight, and at least thinking about having coming to do the things that we think we can do, not only to help the townships, but to hopefully save you guys money long term as well.
Okay. Any question, trustee Seavey?
No, I think our main objective, not only the service, well, I should say, the product that you represent, but the service to our employees is really important to us. That, you know, when they have questions about medical coverage and care, that, you know, you're going to be obtainable.
100%. And the one thing I will say is, we have already hit the kind of the ground running, if you will, putting our team into place. We already have some policies and procedures into place through the help of Melanie and Skylar through conversation that we believe we're going to deliver in a very good fashion for you. And as a lifelong Delhi kid who went to Elder High School and St. Williams, not St. Dominic, again, I really appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. Trustee Davis?
No, tagging off of what trustee Seavey said, the quality and improving the services and increasing services, because we always are looking for that. And of course, at the savings, and I trust Skylar and also Melanie that you have looked into this. You've all had several meetings, I take. And it sounds like, although I haven't heard a whole lot of it, but it sounds like you have a vision or a goal for what Delhi can become with this and for future endeavors. And I don't know if you've discussed DTS and the openings and things that we have there, that may be something in the future, that would be something worth digging into also.
We've certainly talked about that opportunity, yep.
Okay.
So we do have some professional medical office space available, so, yep.
Sorry, I took a little dig in there.
right.
See if we get a little sale. But welcome home. Yeah, yeah. Where, Jeff, where are you living now?
I'm in Green Township.
What's it? Whoa, 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 back up, back up.
You already voted, right? Yeah.
Not too far.
Not too far.
Very
We're
good.
neighbors.
11 minutes.
There you
Okay.
go. There you go.
West Side love.
Yeah. And
Thank
so those listening or those here tonight, just so you know, when we make major changes like this to companies, they don't do it lightly. Melanie and Skylar have been diving in, and Melanie, I know, does the lion's share, and I'm sorry she's not here tonight to be recognized. She does a deep dive onto different ways to save money and to make sure that our service level is met that she needs, because she is in contact with them every day almost, or at least weekly, working on behalf of the employees and so on and so forth. So this truly was not taken lightly, and it was well investigated. And so we're glad to have you on, and that you cut the mustard with Mrs. Helm, because she's a tough one. That's right. You had to prove yourself. So we're very, very happy that you'll be working
One
with us.
thing I'll say, and when I'm departing right now, is Melanie does, I work with a lot of cities, municipalities, counties. I've never seen anyone as buttoned up as Delhi is. My main objective in the first 3 months is to take a lot off her plate. And I think we have the ability to do it with the team we've put into place. We've met the team, Skylar, and I'm very, very excited about the opportunity that we're going to bring to you,
Great.
especially with the brand new building as well.
Yep.
So are we.
Wonderful. All
And I
right.
should add, this has been an evaluation of our existing services, started before I even got here. So Melanie was working on this for well over a year. Our first conversations with Jeff and MMA started over 6 months ago. So at this point, we do feel like MMA is going to provide that higher level service and, hopefully offer us some savings opportunities as well. But, right now, when we have a medical question, a health benefits question, we don't want a call center. We want a Leslie. Right. Then that's who we're going to get.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for coming tonight. Okay, we can go.
I
on.
move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes. Welcome aboard.
Resolution 2024-46, authorizing the township administrator to spend greater than $10,000 on behalf of the township and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I will second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution, Mr. Miller?
Yes, so we're moving into a different stage of our Delhi Town Square project. Before, a lot of our payments were already planned and scheduled through the GMP contract that we have with Turner. Now we're moving into more and more FF&E and operations. So more things are going to be paid directly from the township versus just through a Turner pass-through. So these two items represent more of that. We have expenses from, this is the final AV for both the lawn, the stage, as well as our main meeting room. So this will take care of kind of the Cultural Arts Center side of things. So yeah, that's where all this is coming from. These are planned expenses. Again, we just haven't done the individual spending authorities for them. So this is all within the expected budget.
And that's what I'd asked you today. As long as we were within the budget amount, we're good.
Trustee Davis, any questions?
Nope.
Nope. All right.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes. An update?
Yeah, some brief updates on site. I'm happy to report that Veridian only has 10 units left. So 170 units have been leased out of the 180.
Mr. Miller, I'm sorry, can I bother you? People are confused. What does that mean? They're
Okay.
not available yet, so how can they be, what does this mean?
So the first building, I'm just going to call it Building 1 because I don't know the address off the top of my head, but that would be the building closest to Duncan on the west side of the project. That has a CO and is occupied. Building 3, the long one on the same side of the lawn, that is about to receive its CO and will start to be occupied. So there's occupied, someone is actually living there, we have tenants on site. But there are signed lease agreements. People have signed, they're just waiting for their unit to be ready for occupancy. But when I report that 170 units have signed lease agreements, that means as soon as it's available, it's getting occupied. So
That's
it's not
95%.
there's no back out.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so we're right there at 95% leased out.
Okay.
So which is kind of it's a statement in and of itself. There are signed lease agreements. People want to be, in Delhi and specifically at Delhi Town Square so bad that, they're willing to wait months for their unit to be made available. At this point, it was actually last week we still had 20 units left, so they've leased out 10 of these in just a matter of a few days, and at this rate, they're not even going to be able to have the leasing office in there before they're completely leased out. So, it's a great product. We've got a great project, and for anybody that was concerned that this wasn't going to be a viable product on the west side or in Delhi, the facts are here. We're nearly leased out already. We're seeing similar interest with our Delhi Athletic Club. So we're coming up on nearly 600 inquiries. To date, we've done 70 tours of the site with members of the public, and of those 70, about 60 have signed up so far. They're gearing up and getting a schedule together for having about 24 personalized tours every day. Starting in the first weekend in May, we'll have expanded pre-sale hours, so we'll have weekend hours as well, so that'll open it up. And then shortly thereafter, they will open up online enrollment. Right now, and it's kind of limiting the number of actual enrollment, you have to go in there and you have to do it in person. So that is, all of their systems are getting up and running, getting the wrinkles ironed out, if you will. And so, I think sales are a little slow, but the interest is, very well ahead of the curve.
And it opens up June 1st.
It does open up June 1st. So our building, our site will be open to the public fully June 1st.
And if somebody joins the athletic club, are they, right now, I believe the special is they're waiving the initiation fee?
So we're
That's the
waiving,
perk?
we're waiving the initiation fee. There are, I think, 3 different pieces of merchandise or swag, if you will, that you get. You get, there's a dry fit shirt, a pullover, a duffel bag. You also get a month of, you get a year of free locker. So there's day use lockers and then there's monthly rental lockers. So you would be, once they, they're giving away a certain number of those, I think, this month.
And they won't get the swag, though, till it opens.
You won't get the swag
Yeah,
until it opens.
so don't expect
Yep.
to go up there,
Yeah.
sign, and say,
It's
"Where's my swag
Yep,
bag?"
you got to show up on June 1st or after that to
Okay.
get your
Just to make
your
things
branded
clear.
products. That's
All right, great.
So, yep. So let me show you a couple of quick pictures. I don't have too many. Again, just an aerial to kind of give you a view. So when I talk about building 1, I'm referencing this one on the far west over here. Building 3 will go next, and I think it's a matter of weeks at this point.
The first 3 breezeways from the Delhi entrance will be moving in this weekend.
Yep, there we go. So we're even closer than I thought. So, yep, the first 3 here are coming within the week. So, let's see. Building 2, there's some delays with their cabinetry, but they are working through that. So, yep. All right, so one of the things I want to show you guys, this is from just south of Wild Mike's, looking up at the Pike. Our sidewalk is in, so we have pedestrian access down to the lawn area. We still have to do the mill and the final course of pavement through this area, so this isn't a finished product yet, but our sidewalk is in, so that's one of the major site improvements that you see right now. The other major piece of construction you're seeing is our patio bar. So the patio bar masonry work is nearing completion. You can see all of the brickwork right here, and actually I believe the roof structure is fully on now. So we're making good progress. Another thing you'll see on the exterior of the building is some of our signage is underway. So this is the south side of the building where you can see arts being installed. On the north side that you can see from the Pike, you have Delhi along the front of the Cultural Arts Center. And then moving to the interior spaces, we finally have fully filled pools. So this is the warming pool. Over here you have the our lap pool. And I know I've shown you guys pictures before of trustees in the pool, so now you get an administrator in the pool. So, yeah,
Minus the captain's hat.
that's right. That's coming. That'll be next week. So, yeah, we're going to end up donating that boat, I think, to Parks, so they can use it. They can use it over at Clearview. So, that's all I have.
That's pretty much.
Yep.
Any questions, Trustee Seavey? Davids?
No, I think it's important to point out, since you left the screen up there.
Right, yeah. I think I need to do some laps and get rid of that belly. I'm going to work on
Yeah.
that.
Delhi Fitness is not a swimming club like Delhi Swim Club or Delshire Swim Club, and we brought the 6 kids up, and that's not what this is about. This is a fitness club, and this is about getting exercise, but I just think it's great, and there's no patting ourselves on the back. It's great that we've got so many of the units rented out with the apartments, and there's only 10 left. Of course, it's new, and people like new, and it's going to be that way. But again, we continue to work hard because I think that many of the residents get it, but there's some residents that need to understand it also, how this is a benefit for this community. Taking a leap of faith and going through what we decided to do. A $70 million investment on that Pike into your community, into your property values, into keeping Delhi relevant and moving Delhi forward, it should be worth every penny. And I'm not doing a sale of it. It's going to be good. But you talk about restaurants and retail, you don't get them until you create volume. I found it interesting. Someone commented, "Oh, there goes quiet Delhi." Praise God, praise Jesus. Yes, we will still always make sure we protect our traditions of being family friendly and those things that got us here. Jeff Smith talking about growing up, going down the Pike. We all have that experience, so we all will protect that identity, but at the same time, we have to create some newness and some excitement and invite people into our community. So I'm thrilled for that, because Delhi is a great community. When you talk about a 4-minute, 43-second response time from your safety services, that's unheard of. But the Delhi, you support our police and the fire and the township, so keep doing what we're doing. We'll keep doing what we do to try and make sure you see how this is a benefit. And again, any questions, or you're not sure on what was spent and this 10,000 was spent, I want to know what it is, then call. Give a call. It's that simple. Great days ahead. I'm excited for July 13th, Rose, and I think this is going to be some great things. There's always growing pains. There's always little bumps in the road that we have to deal with, not speed bumps, but bumps in the road. But good job for everybody. There's a lot of interest in what's going on out here. The city, the county, the state are all very inquisitive how this is going, and when we have great numbers to throw back at them, it just shows you a job well done by everybody, including the community. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Economic development, please. Ms. Pearson.
Oops, good evening. I just have a couple of announcements or updates. One is that I mentioned, I think, in last week's email, that the Episcopal Retirement Services and Urban Sites have begun construction on Pedretti Place, which is 48 units of senior housing. And they shared with me that the completion date is summer of 2025. They will start leasing up several months before that, and they will give us a heads up of when they're going to open the waiting list. So that will be on our social media as soon as possible. It probably won't be until January. But those who are eligible are seniors. I have to check the age limit, but it would be people who are seniors. And obviously, as we see with the market rate housing for all ages, it's being snatched up. I'm sure this will be equally popular. So, and then the other piece of information is about the Community Development Block Grant Program for 2024, 25, 26. We did communicate with the Hamilton County about using the funding to do something with the greenhouse at Floral Paradise Gardens, and they said that HUD is the criteria, the national objective that would be met is removing a blighted building or improving a blighted building. But they said that HUD is working through changes in the regulations, so we might want to have a backup plan. So we will be sharing more information about the option of improving, of paving some more ADA paths that are in Delhi Park that we ran out of money for this current cycle, and also making some improvements around the gardens so that we could pave those or have pavers that people could use wheelchairs and walkers. The irrigation systems there's a patchwork of, I think, 7 irrigation systems, and some work and some don't, and so it's going to be figuring out what to do to the underlying pipes.
How about ADA access to a new dog park?
I don't know about that. I can check. Yeah, I can check.
Yeah, that was my question, too.
Yeah.
If it is in a depressed area, we need to have a
Well, I think
ramp or something.
Generally, ADA, anything that's ADA is allowable, but I just want to make sure. They might say, do the dogs have wheelchairs? I'm just kidding. No. Joke.
Some do, I've seen them.
Yeah, the last piece, and I will let Tony pick up the more information on this, but Los Tres Hermanos, the Mexican restaurant at the corner of Greenwell and Delhi Pike, opened on Friday of last week. And he can talk about some of the issues that he's had to work through. But overall, the feedback has been positive. I went and got some food. It took quite a long time, but it's a new store, and so people have to give them a little grace and let them work out the kinks. So,
Good, though?
and they do not have their liquor license yet. Yeah, but yes, it was very good. Thank you. And the servings were very big.
Trustee Seeley?
Social meanness. Do we have any idea what's going to happen to the White Castle store?
No, I have reached out to the person who's selling it a couple of times, and I'm not getting any responses. But I'll do it again.
And I mean, the rumors of what could possibly be going on that corner are like crazy stuff.
We are not aware of any.
But we don't
Real
have anything
options.
confirmed. So whatever you're reading, it's probably rumor.
Right. Definitely not Starbucks, not enough traffic
Right.
consideration. Mr. Davis?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm glad that the new business is open, Los Tres Hermanos, Buena Suerte, good luck to you. And there are, like you said, there's always kinks, but I've heard great things, heard the food's yummy, so.
Yes.
Never go to a restaurant the first 2 weeks. That's all I can say, as the restaurant owner. All right, thank you. All right, community development. Mr. Roach, we have a resolution, or a few resolutions.
We have Resolution 2024-47, declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 328 Bob Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution, Mr. Roach?
Well, good evening, trustees. Trustee Seavey, I think it's about time. So,
From my poem,
absolutely.
Spring has sprung, the grass is riz, here come all the nuisances. Every year, here we come.
So the four resolutions that Mr. Louie is going to read are four grass nuisances. And we decided to kick off the 2024 growing season with 4 repeat customers. So you're going to recognize probably the properties and the addresses.
Yep.
Okay.
Was that your discussion? Are you finished?
That's it.
Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2024-48, declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 5321 Plum Ridge Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Yep.
Same story.
Same story.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2024-49, declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 5218 River Watts Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution?
Not the best picture, but trust me, it does exceed 12 inches.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2024-50, declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 373 Robin Lane, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any more discussion on this resolution?
Same story, just different year.
Mr. Roach, is that right across from St. Dominic's parking lot, or is that up the road?
No, it's almost directly across from
Okay.
the parking lot.
So this is not the first, okay, got it. Good.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes. Thank you.
If I may ask the board a question, last year we experimented with consolidating this down, kind of doing an omnibus motion, if you will, still reading out each individual resolution. I thought it went well, but for just a handful of resolutions, it doesn't make sense. Is there a threshold you want us to hit before we consolidate down, just kind of streamline the process? If we go over, I don't know, 8, or if we're at 10, do you want us to do that moving forward?
I think it's flowing all right. Even if you had 12, we get it. And once you just give us the overall disclaimer, they're all the same, we knock them off pretty quick, I think. That's my opinion.
Frankly, I think it's a little embarrassing to have your address read, so,
You have to
have to
read
read
the
them
address
anyway.
no
yeah,
matter what.
we have to read the address.
Yep.
We did discuss at one time if there was over 12 that we would have a special meeting. Wasn't that what we kind of came up with?
Well, I thought it was a little bit higher than that, Trustee
Okay.
Sturts, but whatever your board would, just let us know, give us some guidance on what that number is, and I would discuss it with Administrator Miller if it gets to an extreme that we would discuss a special meeting.
I mean, I hope we don't have that situation this
We've
year,
had it
but in
before.
case- right,
But
I
in
know.
case, okay.
Yeah.
It's a rare occasion that you would have 20 or something like that. And if it means we go an extra 10 minutes, so be it. I'd rather have that than scheduling an extra meeting just to knock off.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a special meeting. I was thinking more of just kind of the omnibus motion, if you will.
We like to hear Jim.
All right. Maybe I should have got Jim's opinion on it, that's right.
Okay, we have a
thank you.
motion.
We have a motion to approve the hourly rate for the zoning administrative assistant, Donna Weebling, to $22.88 per hour, effective April 12th, 2024.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Just for clarification, she's at the end of her one-year probation of full-time, so that's why she got her increase now instead of the beginning of the year. All right. Any updates?
No, unless you would have any specific questions for me. I mean, everything's underway, Prairie Place, like Joyce said, and Take 5, and
Tony, Joy referenced you on Los Tres Hermanos. There's always things, because we want to make sure when we open that they do it correctly and have everything set. Are we good, full steam ahead, or?
there's a few housekeeping items, Trustee Davis, that we're working through. The owners are being very cooperative.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, we're working through them, and we look to have them cleared up here in the near future.
Okay.
Yeah, they're excited to be here, and that's what we want.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why I said the trustees are always excited to have a new, business open, excited for you to have it here. But, we just, a few housekeeping issues we need to just address.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right. You've patiently sat through our meeting, so now it comes to time for you to talk to us. So we had first received one from Peg Thompson at 5860 Harvey Circle. Ms. Thompson?
I've noticed that at Foley and Mead, people run through the three-way stop sign I saw the other day. I saw a delivery truck just dinging and slow down, and I also saw a car. And I just was wondering if maybe we could put in stop signs that have lights around them. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt that they weren't from the area and they didn't realize there was a stop sign there.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with that intersection.
Okay, I know where we are. I this whole time I've been
Yeah.
down by
and
the doctor's office.
What's really worrisome about somebody running a stop sign down there is that there's a school zone 10 feet up the hill. And that just drives me crazy that they're flying through that intersection, going right into a school zone. And, yes, no, Peg, I know exactly where you mean. Thank you.
Okay. The appropriate people have heard the request, and I don't know, have we ever done lit stop signs? I mean, is that? Blue lights.
Blue lights are good.
Okay. Okay, something to consider, Peg, you've been heard, okay? And they're here. When powers that be.
Was
All right.
especially coming down Neeb as you approach Foley off to the left, that stop sign there really kind of can get hidden. So as you're rolling through, you'd have to,
These were coming from the college.
yeah, so coming up the other way,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Thank you. All right. Secondly, we have Keith Moreland, 6192 High Cedar Court. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to y'all. Is this where I would go to see about getting new laws added to the books? Before I get into all of this.
Well, that depends.
This is the place that's what's happening now. I mean, let's have the discussion. And by the way, you get 5 minutes. Okay, yeah, okay. So, tell us your plea, your story.
10 years ago, bought my house, 6192 High Cedar Court, okay? Moved in with the intention to keep them in the Oakland School District, and enough room to put a in-ground swimming pool in the backyard. That was the criteria. That property fit the bill. Bought it. Got the pool put in, immediately ran into trouble with the guy next door. And for the past 10 years, he has been on an extended temper tantrum. Has lashed out at me in the most ridiculous ways. You guys have responded to a lot of them. I've got a handful of reports against this guy. Finally, they had to actually threaten to have charges brought against him for criminal trespass and criminal damaging. It goes on and on. I'm currently working with a lawyer about possibly filing a civil suit against this guy. But the the latest thing, and it's really not the latest, it's been going on for a while, I've just ignored it for the most part, but he uses now his very loud radio as a weapon against us. So, anytime that they notice that we're outside, the volume goes up to ridiculous levels, right? And it's to the point where, I pay $9,000 a year in property taxes, put in a $50,000 pool, right? And it's almost impossible to get any enjoyment out of any of it because this knucklehead next door, who's mid-60s, right? It's not like this is a child. This is a grandfather. Can't get past the idea that, I put a pool in, right? The big thing was the shed in the back at first, right? It's like, well, Joe, I put that shed in there to put the pool equipment inside to quiet it down, instead of having it right off the side of the house where you would have to listen to that all the time, But anyway, so I asked the police officers responding, is there anything they can do? There is apparently no noise ordinance.
There's no.
So I did a little research, saw that the city of Cincinnati, I think got this one right, and that they do have section 909-3 loud noise ordinance in place. And I think it's very reasonable for obvious reasons. If you've never had to experience anything quite like that, it's very frustrating. In fact, did a little research online to find out that music is actually used as a weapon by our own government in several instances. The CIA uses it, not for torture, but to persuade people to do what they want. It's well documented. This guy's using this as a weapon against me. I'm being assaulted routinely through audio waves. Right? It's physical. It's real, and it's frustrating beyond belief. So, I bought a very powerful sound system, and, fight fire with fire. I don't want to stoop to that level for the sanity of all the rest of the neighbors, which are all great people. It's just this one individual. So I'm here to plead that we get something on the books so these guys can come out and tell this guy to knock it off.
We do have some history on noise ordinance. And part of the problem, and Brian, you can help me with the legal aspect of this because I'm not the lawyer here, but it's very hard to prosecute a noise ordinance because you have to have measurement of what the noise is. Jeff, Braun, do you have anything on that as well? And that's where it falls apart when it goes to court. Is that true, Brian?
Well, I mean, we could spend the next hours talking about a noise ordinance. So the first thing is that while we don't have a specific noise ordinance, noise can be defined as disorderly conduct. Okay, so that can be cited.
That will work.
Well, there are problems with the noise ordinance because it has to be a person. This is going to sound as if I'm taking a shot at Mr. Moreland. I'm not. This is just what the law says. That the person who is complaining has to be of reasonable sensibilities. Not my term, case law term. So the bottom line is you have to come out. The officers have to come out. They have to hear it. They have to say, yeah, that's unreasonable to me too. We're going to cite you. And then you go down to municipal court, who I guarantee you are not going to spend a lot of time thinking about a Delhi Township unreasonable noise. Is that not an unfair, Chief Braun? I mean, the municipal courts are already crowded. And so when they see an outlying township noise ordinance disorderly conduct, they're not going to, let's just say it's harder to prosecute. And if a judge says, yeah, I know the officer heard it, yeah, I know you heard it, that's still not unreasonable in my view. I'm going to acquit. You get a lot of that problem. So it is on the books. There is something on the books. My opinion is we don't need another noise ordinance. That's my view. That's a legislative determination, not a legal determination, because they can be prosecuted as disorderly conduct. But the standard is, and it's beyond a reasonable doubt too, because of the criminal standard. So I know you said you're talking to a lawyer. That's good. You got a civil, whatever you're doing with your lawyer. I think that's smart. And you should. explore that to the extent that you think you need to vindicate your rights. But in order for us to be able to prosecute it, we have to come down, we have to hear it, we have to also think it's unreasonable. If we don't think it's unreasonable, there's cases that have been brought where the individual complained, the officer came out, says on the stand, I really didn't think it was unreasonable, and the judge says, well, if you don't think it's unreasonable, how can I find it's unreasonable? So there's a proof problem, which is, again, not your issue. I'm not minimizing or challenging any of your complaints. I'm just telling you what the legal challenges that I'm sure your lawyer's telling you anyway, which is why I think you're dealing with what you're dealing with, which I'm sorry to hear for you, by the way. But those are kind of a number of the proof problems that you have. And it's hard. These are just hard to prove, number one, even under the disorderly conduct standard, and they're hard to, even once you prove them, they're hard to get convictions.
That's what I understood. Hard to prove. What's wrong with people? What happened to being a good neighbor?
The city of Cincinnati, they have this all charted out.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, Waldorf is done. They have ANSI certified decibel meters,
Yeah.
and it's very clearly listed. Anything above 60 is a violation.
Yeah, which, by the way, 50 is, people don't know this, but 48 to 50 is ambient.
Really?
48 to 50 is ambient. That's 60.
Yeah.
That's not much louder than ambient. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
yeah.
Keith, I was on the board years ago when this discussion came up. I think Satch Coletta was chief then, and there was talk of that. And we really did look into the whole noise ordinance. And as our legal counsel was saying, forget it. By the time it goes to Hamilton County Courts, and even worse now with what's going on down there where they just blow it off. It gave us more teeth by going for the disorderly conduct compared to saying, well, we're going to cite you for noise, compared to saying we're going to cite you for disorderly conduct. It gave us more of a bite, and it actually kind of slowed people down a little bit more when the officer comes up talking about disorderly conduct as compared to, your radio. That's one. Two, I'm so sorry you've had this, and this has been going on for 10 years. It breaks my heart that you wanted to come here to Delhi, and this is what you're dealing with. I don't know his side. I don't know that whole other thing. I feel for your neighbors who are probably sitting back selling tickets on a Friday night just to watch this go on as we get into the warmer months. But I do think it is something that I just want to say as a trustee, you are not bothering us. If you call us 3 times, you are not bothering us. That's what we're here to do. And if in fact there's a violation or something going on, we won't mess around with it. I can assure you of that. But we went with the disorderly conduct simply because it's more of a punch when you say, hey, we're going to do that. And when it gets down to Hamilton County Courts, disorderly conduct compared to they had their radio up too loud, cost from it, beat it, So, Chief.
So, I'm sorry, Trustee Davis, if I may. The other thing that I think Chief Braun is very effective at is having conversations with folks. So he can be effective, I think, if there's a complaint made, that having a conversation that addresses much better than going down and having a cost remit and say, I'm bulletproof on this, I can do this all the time, I come down here, it doesn't matter anything. So it might be worthy of a conversation if Chief Braun believes it. I'm not certainly, I leave that to his discretion, very good discretion in terms of enforcing whatever might be there.
May I ask a question? I know we had a problem with a band in a garage just
Yeah, we did.
a couple of years ago or whatever. That got resolved. I don't want to put anybody on the spot. Did they just move away, or was that a disorderly conduct?
It was.
Okay.
It was a situation that was obviously drums playing all hours of the night and day, and, on a small side street, and it was just obnoxious, to be honest with you, for lack of a better term. My suggestion, and I was going to, without Brian saying it, but, we have very good success, trying to mediate these things, and, I'll be glad to meet with you afterwards and give you my card and try to hook up with you and try to mediate, and, and obviously there's 2 sides to every story, but like Trustee Davis said, I mean, I wish sometimes that there was a law about how to be a good neighbor, but the reality is I think we have I would agree with what Mr. Pacheco said. We have the laws on the books to enforce, and, sometimes, being a former city officer, you know, I can understand those laws, but, you know, I would ask how often they would use it. I mean, they probably don't. I mean, the reality is,
In the city, they don't.
you know, the reality is, you know, we have the time to sit down with folks and have conversations and try to, you know, obviously bring the light, you know, to whatever's going on. And so I would, you know, if that's something you would like, I'll be glad to meet with you afterwards.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming, and we appreciate, and again, we're sorry that you're going through that. All right. No other public comments, so we have announcement of community events. Mr. Miller.
Sorry. All right, here we go. Kids, Cops, and Firefighters Queen of Hearts fundraiser is every Friday night at Jim and Jack's on the River. Queen of Hearts raffle is a fundraising raffle where participants buy tickets for a chance to win a cash prize. It is a 50-50 raffle, but with an added fun twist. It involves a deck of cards turned upside down and numbered 1 through 54. People purchase tickets and assign a number, 1 through 52, to each ticket. Next drawing is this Friday at 8 p.m. The pot will be in excess of $10,000. You do not have to be there to win. Let's see. And you win the same amount of money whether or not you are there when the ticket is drawn. Help us support our less fortunate kids in Delhi. Buy some Queen of Hearts tickets. Delhi Township Shred Day, service provided by Kruger Law, is this Saturday, April 27th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. or when the truck is full. This will be at C.O. Harrison parking lot at 585 Neeb Road. Cleanup Delhi Day is Saturday, May 11th. This will run from 9 until 1 p.m. It will be held at the Delhi Senior Community Center on Neeb Road. Contact Parks and Recreation Department with any questions. Delhi Historical Society program, Cincinnati's Incline, will be Monday, May 13th from 7 to 8 p.m. It'll be held at the Delhi Community Senior Center on Neeb Road. Learn how trolleys played an important role in Cincinnati's growth and how and where they were built in this fascinating program presented by Phil Lind, the expert on Cincinnati's public transportation history. Delhi Township Veterans Memorial Day ceremony is Sunday, May 25th. Will be held from 1 to 2 p.m. Veterans will be held at Veterans Memorial Park on Neeb Road, so here at this location. Due to limited parking, a shuttle bus will be running from the Senior Community Center on Neeb Road.
Okay,
have.
great, thank you. We do have a need to go to executive session tonight, so do we have a motion, please?
Motion to retire
Mr.
to
Levy,
exec-
Mr. Levy, I'm sorry. Can you change? No, everything's fine. It says imminent litigation. It should say pending.
Okay, terminology.
Motion to retire to executive session to discuss pending litigation.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Oh, okay, then we go to roll call.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes, all right, thank you for coming tonight or listening. Our next meeting is May 8th, 2024 at 6 p.m.